G'day, so I've gone and got these pipes here for those vertical garden worm farms, and I've used me drill press here, drilled a bunch of holes in them, and I'll go and get them over in those gardens over at FERN and get the day started. Ripper. Well, little rat bag there has caught probably her biggest little rat ever. Hey, you little munchkins, they're not eating their fish. Biggest rat ever, so still alive, and chickens just love rats. Well, they love mice. That one's a bit big, but we'll go and take it down to the chickens down the road and see if they like the tasty little treat. Lovely. It's a bit big, so we'll see what happens. Now, viewer discretion is advised here. It can get a bit brutal, but feeding your rodents to the chooks it's actually quite a fast, oh, here we go, chookies. It's quite a fast and decent way to get rid of your little ratties, and they just love mice and rats. This one's a little bit big, so viewer discretion advised, because it can get a bit brutal. Here, chookies. Here, chookies. Woo! Woohoo! Oh yeah. So we've got the vertical garden worm farm system happening here, and it's got some holes in the bottom around the centre of that bit there, and the idea is that all the worm juice will drip into the bucket, and the ultimate idea is that I'll put a solar powered pumping system and just recycle the water round and round. So what I've done is I've put some gravel around the holes that are just close into this pipe. That'll help filter so the holes don't get blocked up. Now I'm going to take a bucket of wood chip, which I've just scraped off the surface there, and dunk that in there. That'll help to add an extra layer of filter that will break down very slowly. And then what we're going to start doing is using a lot of the waste materials around here. So we've got some bags of shredded paper, and we'll start getting one or two of them in there, and then that can be a good bedding for the worms. The worms are going to love that. I've got to chop them wheels up there coming off the ground. I'll get a couple of chops in and get this vertical garden worm farm system going. Ripper. Right, you can see this system here, the vertical garden worm farm. It's upside down, and they actually had the holes off to the side there, and that'll just make it a bit tricky to put the bucket under it. So what I've done is punched some holes like all the other ones. They got holes around the center pipe there for the drainage, for all the liquid to drain through. So I've got some Sikaflex here, and I'm just going to gam up them holes so that they're nice and blocked. And the Sikaflex is a really great product. This is marine adhesive sealant, so it's marine grade sealant that'll seal up the holes really good. And then I'll get the bucket and basically do the same thing again with this one here. Ripper. So hopefully you can see underneath there, I've injected the Sikaflex into the holes from the bottom whilst it was upside down. And what I've done in the top is I've made a bit of a layer over the whole section of holes, so it really seals it up. And I've just used a bit of this plastic bag that I've ripped off to cover my finger, so I could spread that around there. So I'll have to actually give that one about 24 hours to dry before I start putting stuff on top of that. So I'll come back to this one tomorrow, and I'll get to the other ones right now. We can see here that there they are. There's all the holes around the base. Hopefully you can see that all right. And with these legs that they've put on here, it's just the perfect size. Stick one of these buckets underneath, as you can see there. It's just a little bit undersized, which is perfect. Now what do I do about attaching this bucket to the system so that the whole system, so the bucket's not separate, it's a part of the system? Now I could use the Sikaflex to glue it on, but I'm thinking I use some sort of other structure that I attach to these timbers, maybe a crisscross structure to hold that bucket in. I'll have a look around, see what I come up with. I made this a bit tricky on myself, having already filled the base of this up, so I'm going to have to work on it. I'll be upside down instead of the system. upside down. So what I want to do is I've just raised the bucket off the ground a bit so that when the system is complete and the bucket is a part of the system, it stays off the ground. We do want a little gap in there so that we can get our hoses and our pumping tubes in there. And then I'm going to use this piece of junk scrap metal that I found. I'm going to crisscross it across the base underneath the lip of that bucket, so it's held in like a kind of triangle or a star pattern, and it's held in really nice and tight. And yep, I'll get back to you when that's done. The other one I'll be able to do upside down. Ripper. Right, I've done that one out the front, and I had to do it standing up because it already started filling it with gravel and stuff, and I didn't want to change that around. So this one's going to be a lot easier because it's upside down. Now what you see here is I've put this bucket, I've put these bits of wood that I'll slide out afterwards to raise the bucket a bit so it's not actually touching the drum. So there's a little gap in it that I can fit the hose for the pumping system, fit it through and get it into the bucket. So just three planks of wood, they're just the right size. You can see there across the top that it still won't touch the floor. There's a gap there. I've cut these little bits of metal off this scrap bit of metal. I'll just drill the portholes and then I'll screw them in between them two and them two, and if it works like the one out the front, it'll squeeze the bucket into place and the bucket will be held there, and the whole unit will be one unit. It'll be able to be wheeled around, and it's got its own water collection system. I also pointed out to Simon that it'd be possible to put a little tap, the kind of taps you get off the 20-litre cube water bottles. Be able to put a tap on there as well, and that way you could tap the worm juice out as well as keep it pumping and circulating around and around. Get back to you on that one. Managed to funk up a tap system here for the bucket that goes on the vertical garden worm farm. So hopefully that tap system there works. I've robbed some bits from here and there to work it out, but so far so good. I guess I better put some water in and test that it's sealed. Works, no leakage, and you see it's full of water, so well, you know, water's covering, so good one. Right, nothing as easy as it seems in the mind, but it's done there. We've got these members here that are attached to these upright stands, these legs here, and then these members are in between, so holding the whole thing solid, because it actually was quite wobbly. So it looks good. We got the tap in there, we've got the bucket held in. Now we can start to pull these bits of timber out, these spaces, just to make sure there's a space. Oh, maybe we can. Oh, crikey. Anyway, we can see there the bucket's going to be off the ground, and I'll get back to you when I get them spaces wrestled out. Spaces have come out, and there's a gap there. So next thing is to tip it over, see if it works. Looking good. We can see it rolls and the bucket is off the ground. There, Ripper. It rolls. The whole thing is mobile with water collection bucket, tap, the whole shindig shebang, hooty caboodle. Now we've got the feeding chute. This is the chute that you put all your food scraps down. Drilled the holes in them last night, so we can see the holes around the very bottom are going to drain into the bucket, and then this one fits in here. It's a bit of a squeeze. I'll get back to you on that. All right, you beauty. It's a unit. The structure is complete, and next is to fill it up. Remembering we got gravel down the bottom, around the holes down the bottom, then build it up with some of this wood chip stuff in there, and then we start to fill it up with basically scraps. What I'm a big fan of with container gardening is actually using the container as a compost. and letting all the food scraps and organic waste compost down in the container, and when they've finally composted down, then you plant. So that's all part of what we're trying to achieve here, the system here. And then later on I'll get a solar panel up the top and get the pumping system installed. Another day. One more to go because I bought all my tools over here, so might as well keep going whilst I've got the tools over here. Ripper. So we got this one here, and it's a pretty bodgy build. You can see the legs are wobbly as. I guess I can tighten up the bolts there. The wheels have been nailed on, and we need someone with a few loose screws, loose screws to screw them on. One of the wheels was missing, so got that one on. You see it's all a bit wobbly. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to square them up. I'm going to temporarily attach these long beams in between to get that nice and square and short up. Then I'm going to put these beams across there, and there, and if somehow the bucket that goes underneath is not the same as the other buckets, it's a smaller bucket, so I've got to work out how to attach that. Anyway, you'll see how it goes. Okay, we've got a bunch of cross members here, and we got these ones down here to hold the bucket in place. You see we've got a bit of a gap for the bucket so we can get the hoses in. We got the tap on, all ready to go. We'll tip it over. Ripper, look at that. Cool, it works. It all rolls. Got a tap there, bucket's off the ground, and we got a gap there. And get any hoses in. Ripper. Let's get them two together, eh? And the legs are a lot more stable now. I've done all that. There we have it. Beauty. The last system here, we got quite a difference between the pipe plug. Yeah, got quite a difference between the pipe plug and the plug hole. You can probably almost see that. So I've got to get the plastic right up. Punch that pipe plug through there. I don't think it's going to be hot enough yet. So, let's see, we'll give it a crack, eh? Oh, that's damn near impossible. No, I might have to drill a big hole. There it is. Looking good, looking good. I'll come back tomorrow and finish everything off 100%. Fill them up and get the things going. Sweet.